traverse-city.com.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, presented by Alloy Rochester. I'm Brooke Allen. Thank you again for being with us. We are live from the beautiful Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville. It is on Main Street, and the coffee is fabulous. Trust me, I just had a refill, and we are just 2 weeks away from Christmas. So we do want to give a big thank you to the businesses who are letting us stream on their Facebook page this hour. Our presenting sponsor, of course, Alloy Personal Training Rochester. Another one of our sponsors, Time War Vintage. They are in St. Clair Shores. Also Skinny Teas and Artisan Bath and Skincare. And of course, you can also watch on my own Facebook page, which is of course called Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. So grab your coffee. We are getting into it. We have a lot to talk about, and we hope you will join the conversation. Today is actually all about women's health and body and mind. So we will be talking coping mechanisms for holiday stress, also shed light on postpartum depression, and also introduce you to a personal trainer who works with women who have just given birth, all of this. Also, the founder, we have a lot of yoga going on today, the founder of a nonprofit who uses yoga to help people with MS, plus quick and easy recipes for new moms and also overwhelmed moms. I would definitely fit into that category. Well, if you have questions for the doctor or any of our other experts today, please leave them in the comments section. You can do that on my Facebook page, and you can also follow us, of course, on Instagram at Brooke Allen Official, and you can find us at Caffeinated Conversations with BrookeAllen.com. But before we do all of that, it is my favorite part, one of my favorite parts, of course, coffee of the day. And Will Hunley, of course, is the owner of Tuscan Cafe. And Will, you just refilled my coffee, so thank you so much for that.
Brooke always likes to put me to work, so
I do.
Right
before we go on the air, he's like, I've got 1 minute, I can do this. So, okay, so coffee of the day, what are you drinking?
I'm just drinking our Sumatra. I love, it's just regular, coffee, but Sumatra has a low acidity level, so I can drink a whole bunch of it and have minimal consequences.
Okay, so Christmas 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
There are beautiful things behind me.
Yes.
So for the coffee lover in your life, my life, me, what can you get?
Well, I'm drinking out of one of our brand new, these are hydro flasks. They're our logoed mugs.
Okay.
These are really new for us, and I really like them, so it keeps it hot for a very long time. They have a little twist so you can get away with, if you're doing all your momming stuff, you can take it with you and
just put on your belt loop and
go. So,
awesome.
And not spill, which is something I'm very notorious for doing, is spilling my coffee.
So I see a couple gift baskets behind us too.
Yeah. They put a bunch of gift baskets together this weekend. There's some hot cocoa mixes in there. There's some s'more canisters so that you can put like little sterno and roast some s'mores in there.
Very nice. And of course,
obviously coffee, and there are new hydro flasks. They also have water bottles as well.
Oh, okay. So can people, these are for sale, right?
These are for sale, yeah.
Okay,
put them
but
together,
can somebody come in and design their own?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're flexible here.
You are very flexible.
If you give us enough coffee, we'll do whatever you need. So.
Okay, so tell me your hours.
We're 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and on Sundays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, so what about Christmas Eve? Are you open?
Christmas Eve, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be, it's not quite in stone, but it's just about to be. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're 2 weeks out. You better make that.
I know. I got to make some planning.
Come on now.
Yeah, it's Monday.
It is Monday indeed. Okay. Well, as always, cheers to you. Thank you so much for hosting us. We love it here. It's a beautiful place, a very busy place at Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville. Thank you, Will.
Thanks for coming. It's always good to have you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, from fulfilling your kids' wish list to decorating, dealing with family, and so much more, plenty of us are indeed feeling the pressure this holiday season. Coming up, we will be joined by returning guest counselor Julie Buch to talk coping mechanisms during this holiday season. And of course, remember, you can always catch Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen on Apple or Spotify anytime. And as we just said, we are live from the Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville on Main Street. We will be right back.
A fresh start lets you refocus, helping you live in the moment, where you can take the lead or take a bow, basking in the glitz and the glow of winter. Because when the snow begins to fall, you feel the excitement rise. Set your sights on a winter wonderland as Fresh finds new ways forward in pure Michigan.
Looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Love Lansing like a local. And we promise, you'll love Lansing just as much as we do.
We are so proud Alloy Fitness Rochester is our presenting sponsor. Their motto, Stronger Together, really speaks for itself. Trent is their director of training and will design the best program for your specific needs, whether you're recovering from a sports injury, wanting more flexibility, or you want to drop a few pounds. At Alloy Fitness Rochester, not only do they design the best fitness plan just for you, they'll also hold you accountable. And that's a combination that is proven to get results. Go to allypersonaltraining.com and search Rochester, Michigan. Welcome back to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are live from the Tuscan Cafe in Northville, Michigan, which is about 17 miles from Ann Arbor if you're not familiar with it. And we are bringing the show to you live via Facebook, also through My Michigan TV. Dave Scott and his team are incredible. My Michigan TV is a new free streaming network with all things Michigan. We love it. To watch free, simply add the app to your smartphone or smart TV. Well, we are just 2 weeks away from Christmas. And it is a lot of stress going on between shopping, putting up the Christmas tree. Maybe your Christmas tree lights aren't exactly working well. Julie Books, you were one of our first guests. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
You kind of know how to keep me mellow, right?
Well, you know, you said we were going to talk about coping mechanisms.
Yes.
And I think one of the biggest coping mechanisms of all is a whole new way of being.
Okay. So
and what I mean by that is just what you just said. You're going to keep me mellow. But the way I'm going to keep you mellow is by telling you that if you need to freak out, freak out.
Oh.
If you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to laugh, because you and I, in this introduction, are already cracking up because we're stressed.
Exactly. We're like, okay, what are we doing?
So we have to have some sort of release.
Right.
So everywhere I go, people ask me for coping mechanisms, which I totally understand and have deep compassion for, and we need those.
Right.
But sometimes I think to myself, wow, more than coping mechanisms, like the biggest coping mechanism is a totally different way of being in this mad rat race that we all wake up in every day.
Okay, so I mean, it's a mad rat race any day of the week, right? Try saying that 3 times.
Right.
But the holidays add so much stress because I think it's, I mean, we've got inflation, which is affecting our gift buying, and then that adds more stress because we put a lot on ourselves.
Yes.
Right? We want to get the best present for whoever we love, and we want them to like it because that's kind of like a love language.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So how, I mean, so we are talking the holidays since Christmas is 2 weeks away.
Right.
But it is getting like this, right?
Yes, and you know, it's like the clock is ticking and everybody's feeling this pressure. And not just that, the state of the world right now is a hard place to be. And then individually, people are carrying lots of grief in the middle of trying to
Keep
shop
going.
and yes.
Right?
So, and even the inflation part that you mentioned. So it's, for me, it's, if I'm having trouble with money, and maybe I need to have a conversation with some people like, hey, this year I just want to do something simple. I'm not saying you have to disclose your finances or anything like that, but you could even say, I'm overwhelmed and I need to simplify this year. And I would invite people now to ask yourself, how do you feel about your rhythm during this holiday season this year?
Okay, so define rhythm.
Well, if it's frantic and I feel overwhelmed and it's too much, if it feels like that's the rhythm, it's a frantic rhythm,
Like this?
then start asking yourself, start preparing for next season? How do I start making changes so that next year I'm not again in this same situation?
And it's funny you say that, because it seems like always, right?
Yes.
It's like, okay, I'm going to put up my Christmas tree earlier.
Right.
Didn't happen.
Right.
And then when it did happen, half the lights weren't working.
Right.
So, I mean, but that's life. That's how it goes.
Life.
And so we just have to kind of, like we said, kind of cope with it, but kind of learn a new way of doing things.
Right. So my way of coping with that is depending on my state of mind at the time and my expectations and everything else I have going on. Because it's not just the tree, right?
Correct.
It's everything leading up to the expectations of the tree, everything I have to get done. And if my lights don't work, I might burst into tears.
And I might have.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a coping mechanism. Tears are a self-regulating activity.
So don't be ashamed of.
Do not be ashamed to cry. Cry more. If I could, I wish the whole world would stop and cry, because I think there are so many people walking around trying to hold it all in. And it comes out in different ways. We take shots at other people. We are mean to ourselves. I think a major healing would happen if the whole world stopped and we all cried. Because so many people are carrying mourning inside of themselves, whether it's a loss from a year ago or a loss from 20 years ago that sometimes the holidays bring up.
Sure.
And not that other times don't. But crying is not something to be ashamed of. Crying is a sacred act, and it's a healing act. I've never met a person that told me, Julie, I cried and felt worse.
Really?
I cried and felt worse. Usually people cry and they feel better after. They let it out.
Cleansing breath, right?
Right.
It's the
It's kind of the release.
Right.
The release of having to hold it all together. So I'm saying we need to allow ourselves to lose it a little bit. All of this trying to hold it together is making us sick.
Yes.
It's making us more stressed. When if we could just be real and say, I need to freak out for a minute, and consciously freak out.
And then contain it, though, right?
Right, and then say, okay, I had my 5 minutes of freaking out. Now I can move on. And by the way, I'm not saying that means we get to harm other people or anything like that.
No, I get that. And so what about, I mean, obviously, I have twins.
Right.
They're going to be 12. And when the Christmas tree, and I don't mean to keep going back to that, but that was the thing.
Go back to it. Yeah.
So when the lights were only half working, and I was like, are you serious? And trying to hold it together. And it seems silly, but you're right. It is the pressure of everything right now.
Yes.
But to cry in front of your children, what is your thought on that?
I think we need to teach our children that it's okay to cry. Now, I'm not saying you cry to your children and make them responsible now for your tears, but if I happen to break down in front of a child, I don't have children, but this is my area of, then I'm going to teach that child that it's okay to cry, that it's healthy to cry. There's nothing wrong. We cry, we acknowledge our feelings, and then we get on with it. Now, for some people, I might have to cry for a year, every single day. And I have at parts of my life. So there's nothing wrong with crying. So with children, I think that's a teachable moment where you're teaching your children, you're setting them up to know that sometimes life is hard and sometimes you're going to feel like crying, and that's not an unhealthy thing. That's a human, we're not machines. We are living flesh. We are beings, are sensitive beings that have reactions to all sorts of things. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to learn how to care for those reactions, and I think our children, to teach them that is teaching the world, the future of our planet.
The future, for sure, right? Okay, so crying is one, right?
Crying
and then
is a coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism, feeling your feelings.
Yes.
Right, and not stuffing it all in.
Right.
Okay, and so what about just on an everyday basis? I mean, do you deep breaths? What is the strategy there?
As soon as you introduced this segment, I wanted to close my eyes. I immediately want to close my eyes and take a breath. Every class I teach, my personal and spiritual growth classes, every single class I teach, I start with a few minutes of inviting people to close their eyes or keep them open if they're more comfortable, and allowing ourselves to take a moment to more fully arrive inside of ourselves, which means maybe I'm feeling the surface that I'm sitting on, maybe I'm noticing my breath, but I'm allowing myself to come more into myself, to be more present, where in that moment, those few minutes, all the stories about what I have to do next drop. All the stories about how I don't have time for this drop for even a minute. So something mean, even like where I'm doing self-talk. Okay, Julie, slow down. Take your time. Take a breath.
Take a breath.
Because breathing is also a regulatory practice.
Right.
So those are great.
Okay.
Those are great. But when those don't work out and I want to cry instead, do that.
Go ahead and cry.
Right. Go ahead and cry. This is a song about that, right?
I think so, yeah.
There's
a lot of songs about that.
Right.
Okay, so Julie, you do teach personal classes. Tell me where people can find more information.
Oh, my website, juliebooksh.com.
Spell that.
Juliebooksh.com.
Okay, so people can go to the website, check it out.
Yes.
Join a class.
Join a class. Right.
You'll respond to them and get back to them.
Get on my email list. I send,
I'm
writings.
on your email list.
Oh, you are?
Yes,
I'll send writings out about this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again. I expect that we'll see you in 2024.
I would love that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
I
much.
wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and may everybody be a little less stressed.
Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, let's all take a deep breath.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Julie. Well, approximately 1 in 10 women in the United States experience postpartum depression during their lifetime, and it's likely happened to you or maybe even someone you love. Coming up, we are joined by a local doctor on how to open up the dialogue and shed light on postpartum depression. Plus, we will also take your questions if you have them. Again, we are live from the Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville on Main Street. We'll be right back.
A fresh start lets you refocus, helping you live in the moment, where you can take the lead or take a bow, basking in the glitz and the glow of winter. Because when the snow begins to fall, you feel the excitement rise. Set your sights on a winter wonderland as Fresh finds new ways forward in pure Michigan.
Looking for the perfect weekend getaway? Love Lansing like a local. And we promise, you'll love Lansing just as much as we do.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Whether you are here at the Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville enjoying a cup of coffee with us, or you're watching the live stream or tuning in on Facebook, of course, Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Did you know approximately 1 in 10 women in the U.S. will experience postpartum depression in her lifetime? Also, some studies even show that that number may be as high as 1 in 7, and it generally lasts 3 to 6 months. I am joined by Dr. Lerner. And Doctor, thank you so much for being here. First of all, tell me about your practice.
Well, I have a personalized medicine practice in Southfield at 12 and a half in Northwestern. We opened about 6 months ago. I left a very large, busy practice to start my own practice, and I partnered with a company called MD VIP. And this allowed me to really streamline and make the healthcare process for my patients pretty seamless, which looks like, half hour to 1 hour appointments, same day or next day appointments. It allows patients to contact me via text message.
Nice.
And so it's a
really
much more personalized relationship, and really focus on a lot more preventative medicine that I wanted to help my patients
to concentrate on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we are talking about postpartum depression today.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because I think that there's a lot involved with it, because you have a new baby and you're so joyful, and then you start feeling sad or overwhelmed or stressed, and you don't know if you're just exhausted. right? You don't know if it's like this new baby is not
Could
sleeping,
be.
so you're tired,
You're
right?
definitely not sleeping,
yes.
right?
So there could be that, but then it lingers, and then there's that ongoing feeling. So I guess my first question to you is, when do you know that there's something going on?
Well, I mean, I think it can be tricky, and I think if your feelings of feeling down, or, you know, a lot of women, 70 to 80% of women feel the baby blues. So after the baby is born and after the endorphins kind of settle down of the
and
excitement,
everyone's gone away with the casserole,
right? You know, then you're left with a baby, and even in the best of circumstances, 70 to 80% of women can feel that kind of, you know, sadness or feeling down after that excitement settles down. And I think after a period of time, after 2 or 3 weeks, if that feeling persists or if it's really lingering for most days, then that's the time to really start to considering that, you know, is this an issue?
So the postpartum checkups are what, 6 weeks out?
6 weeks. So it's even before the 6-week checkup.
So that is a big time gap.
Yeah.
To where you may think, oh, I might need help.
Right.
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 So do you call? I mean, does a woman call her OB? I know they ask you. You know, they started adding those questions.
Right. And I think, you know, the OB visit is 6 weeks in. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, you do need to share those feelings with someone, even with the people around you. Rally support as much as you can, and then talk to your OB. Call your doctor. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Call them and tell them how you're feeling.
Tell them how you're feeling.
What about? I think that some women probably get embarrassed that they're feeling like this because they should be so happy about this.
I think that's natural to feel that, you know, there's a little bit of shame involved, and, you know, you should be so happy you have this perfect baby, and even in the best of circumstances, and sometimes the circumstances are more complicated than that and can really add to those feelings. So, you know, that's understandable, but I think even rallying support from those people closest to you, even if you are ashamed, because even your partner or your family members may be able to reach out to the doctor for help at that point.
Okay. And what about medication? I mean, is there medication?
Oh, there's so many medication options. Yeah, and there are some really interesting new medication classes out. I don't think that's the first step, but it can be depending on the severity of symptoms. And so that's a longer conversation to have with doctors, but there are some really remarkable new treatments. And so just knowing that there's so much help that you can get, and that moms have the option to feel better, you know, that there are so many options to get to feel better.
Yeah,
and
right?
they deserve to feel better.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, you went through this, you deserve to feel better.
There's so many options.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what is your number one piece of advice for new moms out there who may be struggling?
Oh, my number one piece of advice is take the time and the space you need to give the baby to family members. Allow others to take care of the baby so that you can have a meal, so that you can find the space to give nutrition to your body, to drink a glass of water, to take a shower by yourself.
Take a shower.
Right, to get the sleep when you can get it, you know, pass the baby along when you can.
Right, because there's some people who are like, oh no, nobody's touching this baby for like 6 months.
Right.
And with my twins, I was like, please take the baby.
No, right, take the baby.
Take the baby.
But you had twins, so somebody had to take a baby.
Somebody had to take a baby. Please, 2 arms, please do this for me. Well, thank you so much. So if people want to find out more about your practice, because you have switched over, how would they do that?
So you can go online to MDVIP /Sandra Lerner, or you can call my practice, 248-996-8332.
Okay, perfect. And you're accepting new patients?
I am accepting new patients.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you, too. Thank you. And that is Dr. Sandra Lerner. Coming up, we continue the conversation with a local business owner and personal trainer who uses yoga to help women who have just given birth. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, presented by Alloy Rochester. And we are live from the Tuscan Cafe in Northville, Michigan. We will be right back.
The heart of winter. It beats inside you. It's that thing urging you outside when the forecast calls for snow. Some were born with it. For others, it was carved with care. But for all who take winter to heart, it's time. Feel the rhythm of the season and pursue your Pure in Pure, Michigan.
here from Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. I am at one of our sponsors, and I have been looking for white elephant gifts for the holiday season. And let me tell you, they've got some pretty cool ones here. You certainly want to come out because who doesn't want to lose weight during the holiday season? No, it is not a box of Ozempic. It is, ta-da! How cool and funny is that? Also, you know, if you're on the dating scene and having a tough time, you can find Prince Albert in a can. And although it is getting to be winter time, although we haven't had a major snow, when it comes time around for spring, you might want to, you know, pick up some ant dust because everyone does the lawn in heels and a dress. So really some unique items here at Time Warp Vintage. Of course, you've got the snow. I mean, it's amazing. It is so cool. And I can tell you that oh, look at that. I especially love that. Never dull. So yeah, it's just a ton of stuff for that special white elephant gift. I promise you people will be fighting over it all night long. Again, Brooke Allen here from Time Warp Vintage in St. Clair Shores. Come and check it out. Welcome back. We are so excited that you are joining us. You are watching, of course, a live broadcast of Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are at the Tuscan Cafe in Northville, Michigan. Brittany Baird is a personal trainer and nutritionist, owner of Body by Brittany in Clinton Township. And Brittany, you have an extensive resume as far as your background. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so I am originally a cardiovascular invasive specialist. So I spent a good number of years working in invasive cardiology. I have a master's degree in clinical and translational research, and when I was working in the hospital and pursuing my research degree, I actually had a transformation of my own, really fell into fitness and how much I loved it, and so I pursued my certifications, and then this summer I walked away from my healthcare career, and I had Body by Brittany for 5 years. Okay. And I'd walked away from my healthcare career to give Body by Brittany walls and really kind of branch out to hopefully help women have the same transformation I had.
So tell me, how many locations do you have?
Just one location, okay. But we do online training as well. Okay. So I have girls as far as Washington on the West Coast, I have ladies on the East Coast, Virginia, we're all over.
That is so awesome. Okay, so we were just talking to the doctor about postpartum, and I know you do deal with new moms.
I do.
Right, and that's a whole different thing because they're healing, there's a lot going on. So what is your program like for new moms?
So for new moms, I think a lot of fitness programs tend to focus on two things, and that's usually core strength and pelvic floor strength when from a fitness perspective. And those are both really great things to focus on, but a lot of my moms are breastfeeding, and as somebody who's certified nutrition, we're also really worried about their caloric intake, making sure they're keeping their supply up. So I think nutrition is probably at the forefront, making sure our moms are eating nutrient-dense foods and really nourishing their body from the inside out. Breastfeeding moms have different caloric needs, and we need to keep our eye on that because it really can affect their supply, which in turn affects their baby. Right. And their well-being overall, right? Low energy, poor sleep, all those things. Another thing we focus on is, when you're pregnant and throughout your postpartum period, especially if you are breastfeeding, the body continues to produce a hormone called relaxin. Your ovaries produce this hormone to prepare the body to give birth. And what ends up happening is you start developing a bit of a laxity in your joints, in your ligaments. And we tell pregnant women and postpartum women to go slow in their exercises partly because of this. But one of the best things we can do for this is actually strength train, which is what I specialize in. But we do this in very fixed and stable movement patterns, so we minimize the risk of injury. We're always looking out for mom's joints because those tend to be very fragile in their postnatal period.
How many do new moms, I would think, are they excited about coming back? I know a lot, right? They want to drop the weight, they want to get back into shape, and they're like, let's go, let's do this. But what's your time period for them between giving birth and then actually coming to you?
Yeah, so they have to be cleared by their physician to exercise, right? So that's number one. Usually they do not start with me until their 8-week or 6-week appointment after that. And a lot of women come and they expect, they've always heard, we can just snap back after pregnancy, we can bounce back. Nobody bounces back after pregnancy, and especially, I went through my own, I'm 37 years old. I did not snap back to anything. And so
I'm still not snap back.
Yeah, we're not rubber bands, we're human beings. Right. So it's really dependent on the individual, but we take things very slowly. Like I said, we focus on nutrition, we focus on making sure that they feel well enough. Like I said, there are a lot of considerations with pregnant women. Their joints, we can't go as fast as we want to go. And so I'd say a reasonable time frame is give yourself 3 months. Everything you do, give yourself 3 months to really adopt the process and move with it and understand how you feel. Pay attention to your body and learn what you're going through.
Because it's going to be different for you.
It's going to be different. Like I said, nobody bounces back. Your body's just, we talk about transformations in fitness all the time. This is the biggest transformation your body's ever going to go through. And so going back to your pre-pregnancy, who you were back then, you have a lot to learn. You have a new baby, you're not sleeping as well, you're doing so many different things. There's no bouncing back. It's on your schedule, and you do as much as you feel when you feel. It's very personalized.
Okay, so you are located where?
In Clinton Township, Michigan.
Okay, so you're in Clinton Township, and then you have open spots?
I do, I always have open spots.
All right, so tell me where people can find you.
They can find me at bodybybrittanystudio.com.
Okay.
If they want to look more, and I'm also on the app My Body.
Okay, and so they can actually come in, or you even mentioned online?
Yeah, we have online training. It's a really great place to start. If new moms are busy, they can't always make time to get in the studio, but we offer a variety of classes that get live streamed, and we offer an online at-home or gym workout program to accommodate these moms and to make this process sustainable.
Oh, so there's options.
There's so many options.
Oh, we love options.
We sure do.
Thank you. Again, that is Brittany Baird, trainer, nutritionist, owner of Body by Brittany, which of course is in Clinton Township. Coming up, we will have more yoga, but this time talking to the founder of a nonprofit that is helping people with conditions like MS, Parkinson's disease, and more. But first, we're going to take you on the road to last week's Flash sponsor, Exercise Warehouse in Livonia. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen, and we will be right back live from the Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville. Oh, Danny, this is stressing me out, man. Hey, Brooke Allen here. I am at Exercise Warehouse with the owner, Danny Sherbin, and you know, we are next to the accessory wall for exercising. And Danny, I mean, I know that when you take Pilates or yoga or, you know, kettlebell or whatever you do, maybe at a gym per se, but you want to continue that at home. So tell me how.
Yeah, well, we like to be a resource for a lot of personal training studios, as well as other, you know, gyms around town where people might need accessories. Anything from like, you know, kettlebells. We have, you know, things for grips. Okay, something that's really, really popular. Everybody's using them. You could travel with them. So this is great for ladies and men alike. You know, stretch tubes where you could do different exercises with them. You could throw them in a suitcase so you don't really have to carry a lot with you. So if you're trying to stay on a fitness plan, this is one way to do it, at least from the strength side of it.
And for the transportable side of it.
And the transportable side of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we also sell like flooring, like rubber tiles, rubber dumbbells, and anything you might need.
I'm interested in this. It is the Bicep Bomber. Tell me about this.
Oh, well, the Bicep Bomber would be ideal for Brooke so she could pump up her biceps. Okay.
All right, man, let's do it.
So I can't demo it because it's in the box, but it's something for your biceps. So it's the Bicep Bomber.
I kind of like the name. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so we've got that. And then also we are at Exercise Warehouse, like I mentioned, with tons of equipment, treadmills, bikes, ellipticals. I mean, you name it, he's got it. And just come in, check it out. Give me the phone number one more time.
Right, so phone number to our main store in Livonia, and that's also where our warehouse is 248-476-2213. Our website is www.exercisewarehouse.net. And you can always send us an email through our website. We'll respond right away. We do quotes. We also do, the other thing we didn't really talk about was fitness rooms for like light commercial facilities.
Oh,
so that's something else we've done. A big thing is apartment complex. You know, so if you live in an apartment, there's a community room with like a treadmill, elliptical, home gym. We do a lot of that type of business too.
Okay, so somebody was building a new apartment complex and they needed a fitness room. You could supply it.
We could help you do it.
All right,
We've done several around the city.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Danny. All right, come on, man. Let's do it. Let's keep doing it. Welcome back. You are watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. I'm Brooke Allen. We are broadcasting live from the Tuscan Cafe in Northville, Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us. Mindy Eisenberg is a yoga instructor and therapist, founder of Yoga Moves MS. And Mindy, we have an interesting story because we have actually spoken on the phone many times about what you do, and this is our first time meeting in person. So nice to meet you.
I know, it's really nice to
Isn't it funny?
see your face.
Yes, it's so different than being on the phone and dialing you up. So you do yoga for MS. First of all, tell me the background of this. How did it start?
When I first started, there wasn't much out there in terms of yoga therapy is such a new profession. So I really had to kind of teach myself. There was one person out there who wrote the book Yoga for MS, so that was helpful, but there were no teacher trainings out there. My students taught me, but I've been doing this now for 18 years.
Wow. So you don't have MS.
I don't. My mother had primary progressive MS.
Okay. I knew that there was a history there and that it touched your life in some way, and that's why this started. So 18 years.
18 years.
You've been going strong. I know you hold annual summits and everything, right?
We ventured out right before COVID into holistic health and wellness education.
Yes.
So we bring in experts from nationally, internationally, who know different types of wellness practices that complement traditional medical care.
So when people have like Parkinson's or even MS, are they wanting to do yoga, or you know what I mean?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because I think some people are fearful of doing yoga, mainstream yoga and yoga for people with neuromuscular conditions.
Right, they might think it might hurt them or something, right?
They're concerned it might hurt them. I think they're very concerned that they might not do it right and that they're embarrassed.
You know, can we talk about that just for a minute?
Yes, please.
Because it is interesting to me, because when I have gone to yoga class, you know, there is that whole idea of, okay, am I doing this right? Because I don't do it all the time, looking around, and not just, like Julie said earlier, right, being present in the moment and just kind of being in your own cone, right? So real quick, can you address that real quick?
I can address that because our instructors are specifically trained in Menard, and the education for a yoga therapist is very different. Okay. We even have some of our instructors are physical therapists as well. And in our small group classes, they're small for a reason. We might have anywhere from 2 to 4 instructors for 8 to 12 students.
Oh, wow.
That's a very different ratio. I had one person say to me, it's like a private within a support group.
Right. That is amazing. So the smaller classes, and I know the yoga and all that is different. So can you kind of tell me an example of like one pose that may be altered for, does that make sense?
Yes. So let's go to down dog, because a lot of people know down dog. So down dog is usually on the mat with our hands and feet on the mat, making an upside down V. And you can look it up in the adaptive yoga.
I'm so excited.
So also you could put your hands on a counter or a wall and then walk back. We call that wall dog. And so that's a variation. Maybe people have sore wrists and they come down on their forearms. Maybe we put some type of roll under people's wrists. There's so many ways to vary it up. Maybe someone does it on their knees and we do a variation where the spine is sloping downward.
Okay.
There's so many variations, and that's where I mean my students teach us, because they're always bringing the creativity into this. We make it fun.
See, and that's important, right? I mean,
having fun is really important, and a major ingredient is playfulness and creativity.
Okay, so what is the average age of somebody who comes to see you?
It really varies. Usually they're not just diagnosed, but people with Parkinson's can be all the way up into their 70s or 80, and same thing with MS, because people are living longer with these conditions.
Right.
And so movement is medicine. I used to hesitate saying that. We're not replacing medicine, but we're complementing it. And we know that movement helps people feel better in a safe container, as you mentioned.
Right. So, okay, so your classes are in person?
We have, during COVID,
yes,
we pivoted.
I know you
We've
did,
got free online classes every day of the week.
Okay. You still do that?
We still do that.
Okay.
They are free, and they're to anybody. We have people from Australia and Germany attending regularly.
That is awesome.
Really, it really is awesome. We've met some really neat people, and even when we started going back in person, we're keeping them in the loop.
Okay.
Sometimes it might even be a hybrid class.
So people can do that?
They can. So we
Okay.
have in person in southeastern Michigan, and then we also just started an on-demand system, which was funded through the Kirk Gibson Foundation.
Really? That is
Yeah.
amazing.
It really is.
Wow. So that just started.
That's about a year old. We're
Okay.
developing that library. I say it's kind of new.
Right, for sure.
We're getting the word out about it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
people wanted to find more information. How would they do that?
They would go to yogamovesms.org.
Okay. And I mean, men, women. What about children?
Children, I would say that's not my specialty. I've worked with children either with their parents or I've worked with some students who have cerebral palsy who are younger. There's so many different yoga therapists out there that specialize in kids. One of my good friends does, and I'm happy to refer them based on the condition they're coming
Okay.
with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are these?
So I have a book called Adaptive Yoga Moves Anybody.
Yes.
We went kind of backwards and made these adaptive yoga cards,
Okay.
which I want you to have.
Thank you.
And it really gives you different samples for how you could do standing poses, we call those, on your feet,
Okay.
seated poses on your seat, and then on the mat. So you can
Oh,
see
so there's
she's
actually
seated.
yes.
And
Okay.
these are real students.
Oh,
These
are they
are our
really?
students.
Oh, these are awesome.
Yeah, and so you can see that she's seated for the same pose.
Right.
She's standing holding onto a chair and a wall.
Wow. That is so. Are these available for sale? Or?
They are. They can go on my website.
Okay. And then who
Yeah.
are these appropriate for?
Honestly, anyone. And I've noticed that physical therapists really like them, occupational therapists like them, yoga teachers like them. They were made for our students because they wanted something simple. They could pull out a few
kinda
cards,
watch and-
tailor their practice, and then look at some options.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. So, okay, so these are available on the website.
Yep,
Of course, the list of classes
yogamovesms.org.
as well.
The list of classes
Okay,
as
and
well.
also your book, right?
And also my book. That's
So-
on Amazon.
Okay, so the summit, that's passed, right? We missed the health and wellness.
Well, it's on. You can go on the website and listen. We have we keep our holistic health and wellness forum speakers and their presentations on there because they're not that old. They're just a few months old.
Right.
And we're trying to bring cutting edge ideas, research to the public. So this
Okay.
is something I was told was brand new. I was shocked when we started this in 2019 that nobody else was doing this.
Right. So you are a pioneer, man.
I had no idea. It was such a simple idea.
It seems so easy sometimes, doesn't it? It makes, give me your website one more time.
yogamovesms.org.
All right, thank you so much. Again, we've been speaking to Mindy Eisenberg, yoga instructor and therapist, founder of Yoga Moves MS. Thank you, Mindy.
Namaste.
It's a pleasure, a pleasure. Well, we have talked about being overwhelmed for the holidays, or are you a new mom with no time to cook? Coming up, we'll be joined by a personal chef for some quick and easy recipes. I am looking forward to that. And of course, we are live from the Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville on Main Street. Come and grab a cup of coffee. We'll be right back.
When the temps drop and the snow starts falling, yeah, Traverse City is just warming up. Explore a snow globe of adventure. Hit the slopes. Hike through snow-covered forests. Or get cozy with some local flavor. Plan your escape to winter's best-kept secret. This is TC. It's totally cool. It's Traverse City.
Hey, welcome to Michigan Fun, the show where we check out the state's top festivals and events.
Join host Mike Sukent as he talks with guests from all across Michigan.
How are you doing, Mike? How's everybody in fair festival land out there.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at festivals and events across the state.
A lot of concerts and free family fun, you name it, and we have it.
Your secret's safe with us. I thought mermaids were fictitious beings.
We got everything at Pirate Festival.
I mean, this is countdown.
Countdown only a couple of weeks away.
You guys busy there in Grand Haven?
Yeah, just a little bit. We're hoping the weather is holding. We've called Mother Nature. I don't know if I can do much, but Mother Nature and I, we have an understanding.
I mean, people are coming to these events and these fairs and these festivals. They just want to have a good time.
It is one of those events that is so much fun.
That will be a lot of fun.
I'm feeling good.
A fresh start lets you refocus, helping you live in the moment, where you can take the lead or take a bow, basking in the glitz and the glow of winter. Because when the snow begins to fall, you feel the excitement rise. Set your sights on a winter wonderland as Fresh finds new ways forward in pure Michigan.
And welcome back to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. We are live from the beautiful Tuscan Cafe in downtown Northville on Main Street. And we are bringing the show live via Facebook, also through My Michigan TV. Dave Scott and his team are incredible. My Michigan TV is a new free streaming network about all things Michigan. To watch free, simply add the app to your smartphone or your smart TV. Well, I can already smell it. It smells so good. Quick and easy recipes for new moms. Also the holidays. Marcy Scheinbaum is a personal chef, private chef. You are all things chef.
All things chef.
All things chef. And you know what? Tell me what this is, because it looks delightful.
So this is my famous creme brulee French toast. And it's not only delicious, but super easy to make. And it's a great recipe for the holidays because everything gets prepped the night before. And in the morning, one last step, and you pop it in the oven and serve lots of people.
And you're good to go.
And you're good to go.
Okay, so let's talk about these ingredients as I try this.
So we're gonna take a beautiful loaf of an egg bread, either a challah bread or a brioche bread or a French bread. We're gonna cube it up. We're gonna put it into a 13x9 Pyrex. Mm-hmm. We're gonna take eggs. We're gonna take milk, half and half, vanilla and cinnamon, mix it all together and pour it over the bread. And then we're gonna cover it and refrigerate it overnight. Okay. And then in the morning, we're gonna take brown sugar, corn syrup, and butter, boil it until it's nice and bubbly, put it over your bread mixture, and pop it in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour.
And that's the sauce.
And that's the sauce.
And
you
wow.
see it gets all crispy on the top.
And you know, it's kind of caramely,
yes,
right? So
yes.
It's caramely, no chocolate. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Of course.
But this is easy and something you can prepare, like you said, the night before. Put it in. I mean, even if you're just having a small gathering, how does this store?
So, for sure. I mean, you can store this in the refrigerator for however long it lasts. Or you can, half the recipe.
Okay, can you freeze it or no?
You can freeze it once it's all cooked.
So you can?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So what else you got cooking over there, man?
I know. Well, I offered to bring a few other things. Did. I mean, obviously during the holidays, it's a little stressful. I think people struggle a lot with even just going to the grocery store.
Yes.
So be prepared, make your lists. You've got a couple weeks ahead of us, so think about what you want to serve, who's coming. You can make some soups ahead of time and put them in the freezer right now. Oh. I've got some great recipes which we can put up on your site. Food is love.
Yes.
And I started this business about 4 years ago after being in sales my whole life, just teaching my friends how to cook. And obviously it's relevant in this topic today because busy moms, new moms,
don't know how to cook, and I get a lot of requests for gift cards to send food to people who have just had babies.
Okay, so gift card for you?
Yes, a gift card to Marcy's Kitchen. Okay. They'll reach out to me. I'll coordinate meals. I like to customize everything for my clients because I feel like people have, specific tastes in what they like. There's a lot of food allergies and intolerances.
And so I do want to ask you, because you mentioned half and half in this, right? So what about oat milk or almond
definitely.
milk? It would be okay?
Totally substitute that.
So gift card, that is so interesting. And then when somebody says, I have a personal chef, does that mean you come cook at my house, or where are you cooking?
I actually do both.
Okay.
I have a kitchen that I cook in, but I do like to do some upscale dinner parties, at-home fun dinner parties. I've done seniors in high school. I do cooking classes. I mean, wherever I can cook, I want to cook because I just feel like it's a gift that I have that I want to share with other people.
Okay, so what is your favorite dish to cook?
People always ask me that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love to cook this because it's delicious, but I love to cook everything. I feel like food is love. It's all about the experience.
It's the conversation around the food, right?
Right.
It's the same for me with coffee.
It brings people together.
Yes. So out of all the requests you've gotten for personal meals, what's the weirdest?
The weirdest?
Yeah.
The weirdest type of food or the weirdest event?
Type of food.
Type of food. Oh my God, I don't think anything's weird. And you know what? I like it because sometimes I get requests of things that I've never made before, so it challenges me.
Oh, okay.
I had a client about a week ago who's used to going to this beautiful upscale restaurant in Las Vegas, and she wanted these certain kind of beans that were Mediterranean. So I searched them out. I got them. I couldn't find them locally, and then I researched recipes, and it was wonderful.
Really?
And it was nothing you could get here.
Right, so now you can add that to your repertoire, right?
Yes, I love the challenge.
That is awesome. Okay, so gift cards, I never would have thought about that. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So people can go to your website. Perfect gift for somebody.
Yes.
Especially a new mom, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how do people find you?
So at Marcy's Kitchen 2020 on Instagram, or they can email me at chefms@yahoo.com.
Okay.
Or like I said, follow me on Instagram.
Okay, so if people want to book a time with you, do you have a schedule, everything there, or do they have to talk to you?
And let them message me, call me, reach out to me. We'll coordinate a time. We'll have a conversation, and we'll just look at the calendar, see what you want. I do a lot of auction items, so scheduling.
Okay.
Accordingly.
All right. So what do you do on New Year's Eve?
I'm actually working.
I imagine.
But at a friend's house.
Oh, okay. So a fun event.
Yeah.
All right. So how many people do you cook for?
I mean,
what's
I've
your
cooked
max?
for up to 250.
Oh.
I just did a fundraiser for Relief, which is a tree planting organization. Yep. It was a beautiful venue at Live Edge Detroit and Troy, and that was about 250 people.
Okay, so you can go from 2 all the way up to 250.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for this.
Of course. Of course.
So don't forget, you can get your gift cards for Marcy. That is amazing. I might just hit your website later on. So thank you. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Of course, we do have some real quick messages before we say goodbye for the week. If you are looking for a way to stay in shape this holiday, sans this, our presenting sponsor, you want to check them out, which is Alloy Personal Training Rochester. It is not a one-size-fits-all. They'll design a fitness plan based on your needs, goals, and abilities. And the Alloy Rochester Club is in the City Life Plaza. That is on the southeast corner of Tinkin and Rochester Road. You can find them at alloypersonaltraining.com and type in Rochester, Michigan. Well, we are proud to say that we are hitting the road this week with 2 flash sponsors, very different flash sponsors. Our first stop is Premier Pet. That is in Beverly Hills. Maybe I'll get a new puppy for the holidays. And the next is Le Shop in Kego Harbor. And they are currently accepting consignments for their auction, which is happening on January 14th. That deadline is December 15th. But of course, we will bring you more details through the week through that flash sponsorship. Of course, we would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you to everyone involved, of course. Dave Scott, as I've mentioned, from My Michigan TV. Jason Waldron, he is here. He was from Time Warp. He is one of our sponsors. And, of course, my executive producer, Christina McDaniels, keeps it all together for me, handing me all of my papers. So I appreciate that so much. So thank you. And, of course, I do want to remind you that our act of caffeinated kindness for the month of December is Teen Clean Closet. And their mission is to help young people and their families by providing them with products they need for everyday hygiene. And those top items on on their wish list are deodorant, bar soap, body wash, chapstick, also laundry supplies. So all of that, and you can find a link to donate on our website, caffeinatedconversationswithbrookeallen.com. Well, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Also on Instagram at Brooke Allen Official. And like, share, follow, of course. Any love helps us so much with this new show. In fact, this is episode 5. We are so proud to be here. Coming up next week, she is the Oakland County prosecutor and mom to 5 children. We are so excited to announce that prosecutor Karen McDonald will be joining us on Caffeinated Conversations next week. Also, we will be talking with a senior advocate about how to make the holidays the best they can be for our elderly loved ones. Of course, that is our Halfway to 100 segment. So you want to join us Monday, 10 a.m. right here live at Tuscan Cafe in Northville, Michigan. And of course, you've been watching Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. I'm Brooke Allen. Have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and of course, keep the coffee hot.
I love that. I did party for Karen McDonald. She hosted like a baby shower.